When you want to go out gold prospecting, you often see people say research, research, research. The problem is, where do you start? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can access free government-supplied gold maps, how to decipher them, and where you can prospect. Now, I'm not going to kid around here. This is probably going to be the most boring video ever made. I wouldn't watch it myself, but at the end of it, I'm going to show you how you can collect your free beer ticket. Step one is going to be to go to the GeoResGlobe website via Google, or the link that I'm going to put into the comments, and open up the GeoResGlobe page. Now, this one's a Queensland government one, but there are similar sites in other states, and the rules are going to be a little bit different there. So we're going to focus today on reading Queensland maps. So once we've got it open, you may have to sign a little disclaimer to say that you're using it for a proper purpose. It'll take a bit, it'll load up, and it'll have a map of Queensland. And for the sake of this video, we're going to open it up to an area where I know will give us a good demonstration of what you can and can't do in these areas. So I'm looking for a place called Kenilworth, which should just be down here at this intersection. And we're going to mostly look at this area when we work out how to use these maps. Now, Kenilworth's good because it's got the Mary River running down through it. And the first thing that we're going to do, which is a button that you'll play around with a lot, is layers. And I'll just open up the layers and show you what I mean. So we're going to press the plus sign next to add layers, and it's going to have a menu of things that you can put onto your map. Now, the very first thing that I would be looking at when I come in would be to scroll down the map a little bit and put a checkbox on the native title section. And you'll wait a second, and the native title part will come up, and we're just going to slide the layers menu back across because I wanted to talk just briefly about native title. And we can see the squiggly lines showing that native title runs all down the Mary River into some of the offshoots and into big swathes of land. It's covered by native title determination QCD 2024/002. Now, I know that's a native title claim that gives non-exclusive rights to the Kabi people who live in this area of Queensland. We really will not have to look at that too much further because non-exclusive means that it can be used by First Nations people and others for legitimate purposes. So we'll just open up the layers menu. We're going to close off the native title pieces because we know we're clear there. The second thing I normally look at is mining leases. And again, we're going to go into the add layers section, and we're going to drop down production permits. And we don't want to be prospecting on someone's mining lease or some land that they're in the process of claiming. So we are going to check mining claim and mining lease. And as we can see here in the Gympie region, and I didn't do this for Kenilworth because there's no mining leases around there, there are two red areas that are marked as mining leases, and obviously you don't want to be caught prospecting in there. But for the sake of going back to the Kenilworth region, there are no mining leases. So I'm going to turn off the production permits, and we'll go back and have a look around Kenilworth. Step 3 is to find out where the gold is. And to do that, we're going to go back into the Layers tab again, and there's a tab called Resources, and we're going to use the drop-down menu, and we're going to check the box that says Mines and Mineral Occurrence by Commodity. And as you can see, and I'll slide this Layers menu away, all of a sudden it says gold in quite a few places. and we can zoom out, and there'll be more areas where you can see some gold, and zoom back in, and that's going to show you where gold has been found historically. The fourth step is going to be for us to check areas where we're not allowed to prospect, and for that we're going to go to the tab for unavailable land. We'll drop that down, and a lot of them don't apply, but I usually would check forest reserve, because you can't fossick there, and national park. And what we can see here now on the map, if I just slide the menu back across, is some areas of national park where we are not allowed to undertake these activities, and I don't think any forest reserves come up there, so we might be clear on that one. And further to that, we just drop the menu down a bit more, and we're going to have a look at constrained land, because there's a couple of things that are going to prevent us from fossicking in Queensland, that is, although other states are different. First one we're going to check is a box called reserve, because you're not allowed to work the reserve land, and although it doesn't show it here, when I zoom in you're going to see there's actually a reserve that'll come up. And the second one is state forests. We're not allowed to prospect in state forests, so we will turn that on, and we can see the Imbil State Forest has popped up out west of Kenilworth, so we won't be allowed in there. The final section that we're going to open up is under the Cadastre tab. Again, we're going to drop down the menu, and we're going to check just this top box that says Cadastre DCDB parcel, and this one is going to bring up all the land boundaries. And on this particular intersection, we are at the intersection of Little Yabba Creek and the Mary River, and all of a sudden some reserve land has popped up where we cannot prospect. Where it says freehold land, that means it's a piece of property that someone owns, and you can't go through someone's land unless they give you permission. So what we're going to do, I'll just slide this across, and we can see that the state forest sort of comes up to the boundary of the Little Yabba Creek, but the creek itself is mostly outside of the state forest. So we're going to be able to go in there, and we'll have a little bit of a look closer at these things on a static map where I can actually draw some boundaries and things in, so we can see where we can actually work. So now we go to our little static map, and the first thing we're going to do is highlight the freehold stuff. That is land that people own, so we're going to mark that. Another one next door. We'll assume the one next to it is also freehold, and if you zoomed in it would probably say that. Then you go down there, state land. You may or may not be able to go in there, but we're not going to need to go there. So we're going to mark that off, and we go into more freehold land there. Someone's property here. And over here. And up in the top section, there's a person's property too. Next, we're just going to have a look at this reserve area. Now, this particular reserve here, it's actually a free camping ground, which is very handy for anyone who wants to go out to this place. It runs along here. And again, that's the reserve extending there as well, where you can actually park. The next place we're going to have a look into is the state forest, and it looks like there's a special protection area for fig trees. So the state forest runs up here, and the boundary runs along there, and again back up to there. And we're also going to knock out this little fig tree protection area. However, that's all about 40 metres within the bridge anyway, which means that the land is all out along there. And we're also out all through here. because people own those properties. What that leaves us with is a section of the Mary River and Little Yabba Creek where we can prospect. The prospecting sections are along there, and it goes quite a bit further where the rivers meet. And all of these sections of the Mary River is where you can go and spend your day trying to find $5 worth of gold. So that's how we read a map. So about that free beer, what you're going to do, you're going to follow the instructions in this video and the other ones that I have posted. You're going to gather a little bit of gold. You're going to drive down to Beechworth in Victoria and look for a shop called the Old Mouldy. There's an old fellow in there with a beard who will exchange your gold for beer tickets. And what you're going to do, you're going to grab one of those tickets and wander across the road to one of the Beechworth pubs. You're going to hand it to the bar person who in exchange will give you your free love potion.